when we think about the topic of authority, it's very important we think about it a little bit more complexly. We tend to think of it as like all good or all bad, right? I think as Christians, we need to think about it in terms of creation, fall, redemption. Authority created, authority fallen, authority redeemed. Let's talk about authority as fallen. What is that? It means that we use the authority that God gives us for our own purposes, and we exploit and use other people for our ends. We make ourselves God. So Cain makes himself God and therefore gives himself the right to kill, destroy Abel, his brother, right? Pharaoh makes himself God and therefore gives himself the right, who is the Lord, that I should obey him, he says. Therefore gives himself the right to exploit the labor and eventually the lives of the Jews under his care, right? The abuse of authority always begins with that kind of idolatry, removing God from his throne, making myself God in some sense, and therefore using others to my own praise and glory. And every kind of exploitation and oppression and domination and all the racism, all the isms we might think of basically start with removal from God, idolatry, and then therefore use of others for my own purposes. And even the historical, the famous historical examples of abuse of authority, think of Nazi Germany or things like that. What happens? Well, you have a dehumanizing of a group of people so that you can dominate them. Right? So I dehumanize them and I make myself God. So the Jews were dehumanized. Abortion, I would say, is the same sort of thing. You dehumanize the infant in the mother's womb so that I get what I want. Okay, that's authority under the fall. And we need to keep going, though, in the storyline and understand authority in creation, authority redeemed, where it's put to the end of serving others. So God has put me in an office. I'm still under God. So he's given me a very limited jurisdiction, and he's given me a purpose in using that authority. And that purpose in using that authority is not to get, not because I'm God, but to give and to serve, right? And to build up and equip and strengthen. So people often talk about authority as kind of a top-down thing, and there's a top-down element in authority, like you're looking out from on high, you're giving the law, you're teaching, you're telling your children you must do this, right? But there's also a bottom-up element. God is a rock. He's a sure place to stand. And I think about how, in many ways, I lay my life down for my daughters as they're climbing all over me, and I'm holding them up. Right here we are at Disneyland, and I'm serving. I'm using my authority to serve them. Here we are at Disneyland, walking around the park, just exhausting myself so they can have a good time. And that picture of me at Disneyland with my daughters doing all I can to show them a good time is, in a sense, what I'm doing as their dad all the time. I am the platform on which they are to build their lives. That's my job, is to get down on my hands and knees and give my daughters a place to dance and run and stand and grow and flourish. And I want to say to anybody in any position of authority, the church, the home, in the office, that's your job, is to be that rock, to be that platform on which others stand. You use your top-down authority for those to get yourself in a bottom-up position, right? So authority is dangerous, and it's more dangerous than you think because it kills. Authority is also a blessing and far better than you think. Got to understand it rightly then.